Good afternoon, I'm Milton Walker with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. There's another call from the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, for households to properly package their garbage before putting it out. It comes from the entity's Executive Director, Audley Gordon, who says the problem cost the NSWMA in a number of ways, and it's also a major contributor to health issues in the communities. TVJ's O'Shane Masters reports.
Head of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, explains that containerization is the proper preparation and packaging of waste for collection. He says failure to do so, or dumping on open lots and in gullies, is the main cause of health-related issues such as mosquito and rodent infestation.
Sometimes you go to clean these gullies, the size rats you see in there, you have to be brave. You see? But it's we feed the rats.
He points to household wastes like meat cuttings and leftover food as the main contributors.
And then, when there's an outbreak of whatever, we said we want justice. Well, justice is to properly containerize your garbage. That's justice, because then you will protect your own health and that of your neighbor. And so we ask for that buy-in from the public.
Mr. Gordon says when garbage is put on the roadside without being put in a container, it also causes major delays in collection and creates a greater expense for the entity.
We find that trucks are going out and spending too long a time at some sites just to rake up, bag up, before they can move. And so when we have a truck that is stuck at a location for an hour and a half, cleaning up what should have been properly prepared, bagged, and awaiting their arrival. That truck, when detained, deprives another community of pickup. But it also wastes resource, because we have to keep that truck engine on using gas oil, because the compactor won't work if the truck is off.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And the drive by the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, to have a clean Christmas continued in sections of Westmoreland with the removal of bulky garbage such as old fridges and cars. Regional Operations Manager for Western Parks and Markets, Garnet Edmondson, says the initiative being undertaken by the NSWMA on an island-wide basis was well needed. This he noted as some of the bulky waste across the island has been there for years.
We moved so far since morning 10 truckloads of bulky waste. It's important to understand though that people must get rid of these bulky waste in a proper manner. And come next year, we'll be pushing that mandate, because we can't have them on our public thoroughfare. We can't have them in places that would have mosquitoes and so forth.
One resident expressed appreciation for the work being done.
I'm feeling very happy, very good to get rid of the rubbish, the old iron, the old drum, everything. Less mosquito for us.
To the other end of the island, where residents of the Stanton housing scheme in St. Thomas took to the streets on Wednesday, protesting limited street lights, domestic water and deplorable road conditions in their community. They say the community has been neglected by the political representatives over the years. We have the details in this report.
Roads, water and street lights. The three basic commodities residents of Stanton housing scheme in Spring Gardens, St. Thomas want for Christmas. They say poor infrastructure has been a problem in their community for more than a decade.
For the last 18 years, we not get water in a pipe. And yesterday, I see them come, the water commission them come with some paper, say them install back pipe, but you have to pay up the money we owe. Me ask them how much my sister owe, they say $47,000. And water now come in a pipe.
Here's we have to buy water, $2,000 and $3,000 a drum for water, and we cannot manage it no more. No more, we cannot manage it.
Others use containers like these to store water when it rains, but that creates additional problems.
Buy you throw the water in the drum, mosquito, in night. Then come around and bite your little child. You can sick and dead anytime.
From water to the roads, They say potholes like these make life in their community even more challenging.
Not even the Prime Minister going to put in car on the road because it is in a bad condition.
Then left we in the wilderness because St. Thomas then treat the less. I don't know if a true Paul Bogle come from here. Then treat St. Thomas the less, and it is not fair.
Which is why they are appealing to their Member of Parliament to resolve the matter.
We neither see councillor, MP, or no one come and visit us and ask us what is the matter. So therefore, we need to see someone of you come. We don't want to come talk about our election business. What a road we want.
Please, we are asking Fenton, Ferguson, Rowan, Bryan, please to stand out for we. Please and thanks, we are asking to stand out for we.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Operations at the Port Antonio Hospital are set to improve following a donation of millions of dollars worth of equipment from the Digicel Foundation. The initiative was led by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, who toured the facility recently. He pointed to the challenges faced by the medical staff in providing intensive care to patients with very few resources.
Asked for a wish list from the hospital and the things that are needed most: an electronic patient care monitor, a defibrillator, nebulizer, and electronic fetal monitor. And it's such a joy to see the pride and the glow that comes from the staff who have labored over the years with equipment that's not as efficient, and you get that piece of equipment which makes your work so much easier. And I saw that on Doctor's face this morning.
It's been suggested that if a recommendation to criminalize knowingly infecting someone with HIV is made law, it could have a damaging effect on efforts to eradicate HIV and AIDS. The Joint Select Committee of Parliament has said the Offences Against the Person Act should be amended to make it a criminal offence for someone to willfully or recklessly infect a partner with a sexually transmissible disease which can inflict serious bodily harm. Policy and Advocacy Officer at Jamaica AIDS Support for Life, Patrick Layla, says such a move could reduce the number of persons coming forward for testing.
We are talking about getting to 90 by 2020 and ending AIDS by 2030. We cannot do this with legislation of this sort, because what will happen is that putting this into law, what it is going to do is reduce the number of persons coming forward for testing, which means less people knowing their status, more persons out there infecting people not seeking treatment, because the fact is, the point is the knowing. You have to know your status, and if you don't know, then you can't be convicted of it.
In news overseas, American Border Patrol authorities are investigating the death of a 7-year-old girl from Guatemala who crossed into the United States illegally with her father last week. We go to the CNN for more.
The 7-year-old girl and her father were detained last week in New Mexico for illegally crossing into the United States. She was in custody for 8 hours when it was found that she had an extremely high fever and was flown to hospital. The Washington Post reports she had no food or water for several days. But Border Patrol says food and water is typically provided to migrants in custody.
Where it concerns the way we treat these families, we have to ensure that they're given a fair opportunity to apply for asylum, that they aren't treated like criminals out of the gate. These are people that are coming to our border, fleeing unspeakable violence, in many instances violence that most of us Americans just simply can't imagine. They need to be treated like what they actually are, which is people seeking asylum. And that means given proper nutrition, proper access to water, medical care, sleeping conditions that are, that would accommodate children.
In sports, the Jamaica Racing Commission has sought to explain the controversial removal of the US-bred filly American Invader from Saturday's race program at Caymanas Park. Spencer Darlington has the story.
The overnight program for Saturday had Wayne DaCosta's U.S.-bred filly American Invader listed among the entries for the 7th event, a 5-furlong straight contest for native-bred 3-year-olds, non-winners of 2, imported 2-year-olds, non-winners of 2, and 3-year-old and up maiden. However, upon release of the final program from the Racing Office of Supreme Ventures Racing and Entertainment Limited, the field was cut to 14 with American Invader missing.
I was just told by the steward this morning that my horse was deemed ineligible to start. The racing office had made a mistake with the printing of the condition, even although there were conditions in the same race that allowed her to start. There was one small omission, and the commission deemed that she was not eligible to start. I've got no official reply from the commission stating the reason, just that just a word of mouth opinion from the steward that she was ineligible to start.
Jamaica Racing Commission Chairman Clovis Metcalf later explained to TVJ Sports the rationale behind American Invader's exclusion from the event.
Somehow the racing director made a slight error in the minor conditions of the race and said 2-year-old allowed so much weight. But the substantive condition of the race speaks to a restricted allowance race for 3-year-olds and upwards, non-winners of 2, and imported 3-year-olds and upwards. So this is not a race allotted to 2-year-olds, it's 3-year-olds and upwards.
However, DaCosta remains peeved at how the matter was handled.
What they basically said that a trainer complained about the condition, saying that she was not eligible. And yes, in fact, they had written a race just like this earlier in the month of December, and there was no problem. Unfortunately, no American 2-year-olds opted to nominate in that race, but that race would have gone through okay.
The JRC chairman thought the matter needed urgent clarity, given that the battle for the trainer's title between DaCosta and Anthony Baba Nunes is tantalizingly poised at the moment.
It is very important for the racing pub, especially during the month of December, when the Trainers' Championship and Owners' Championship and Jockeys' Championship is on the line. So I'm sort of very thankful for you to bring this to my attention so we can clarify it for the racing public at large.
And still in sports, Jamaica's Sunshine Girls have moved up in the International Netball Federation World Rankings published on Thursday. We have more in this report.
It's been over 10 years since Jamaica has been in the top 3 of world netball, despite grabbing the bronze medal at major championships such as the Netball World Cup and the Commonwealth Games. The Jamaicans wrestled 3rd spot from 2018 Commonwealth champions England on the back of a 3-0 series win in Kingston. The Sunshine Girls capped a good 2018 with a silver medal finish at the Fast 5 series and a bronze medal performance at the Commonwealth Games. Netball Jamaica President Dr. Paula Daly Morris was naturally pleased.
Movement 1 up in the world ranking is, I would say, awesome news. We are elated to have made this move. We have been number 4 in the world for quite a long time, and so to have moved now is important to us.
And with the 2019 World Cup in England just 7 months away, the Netball Jamaica boss knows it will not be easy to play against the world's best.
Sunshine Girls are extremely happy. The board of Netball Jamaica, we are all grateful for the way they have played. This talented bunch of girls are going to be doing so much more for Jamaica, and we're just asking for a lot more support. They have a world champs coming up. Our prospects look really good, but we need to get there now. We have demonstrated the ability. Just help us, please.
The England Roses now occupy 4th spot, while Australia continue to lead the standings and New Zealand are now 2nd. With just 1 rating point separating New Zealand, Jamaica and England, things couldn't be closer coming into a World Cup year.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Milton Walker. Join us at 7 for primetime news on behalf of the news, sports and production teams. Good afternoon.